Hello!
Again.
Welcome and welcome back to
Episode.
a new studio, sort of.
Kind of. A new,
setup.
a refreshed setup.
You know, she got a facelift. Do you guys like it?
She's so cute. I personally love it. If you don't like it, don't tell us, because...
No, tell us!
No, don't tell us.
Don't tell her, I'll read the graphics.
Okay.
Tell me, I would love to know. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
It's getting there.
yeah,
We have more plans, but it will come.
as we said, we will evolve with time. Everything will get better as we keep going.
Yeah, good time.
And also, we're only using one mic now. It's just better for all intents and purposes. Better for editing, should work out better. But,
Better for the technical aspect.
yes, but if at the end of this podcast it turns out that the sound quality is less or whatever, we will obviously change that. So, shouldn't be, but
We're learning as we go, so trusting and believing
bear with us.
in the process.
Trust the process.
Okay.
Your mantra, girl.
My mantra, dude, honestly, because that's what life is. Today we are talking about
Just our university journey, really. Like, first year to honors. What did we learn? What was that time in our life like?
and why was it so significant? Because I keep telling her, like, I feel like every single time we talk, we always relate it back to something we did in university, something we learned, something we whatever, and it was just such an like influential time in our lives.
And
So-
we say a lot of the time, we'll say like in second year or in third year, like randomly in the thing. And you guys don't know what happened in our second years or third years or...
yeah. And also, hopefully, I don't know, if there's people that want to go study drama, then they can watch this and be like, okay,
Or just want to go to university in general because it is a different experience
right,
if you're prepping to go.
right.
And also, if you're currently studying drama and you think you're alone in your experiences,
You're not.
You're not.
Baby. But also, yeah, university in general, but also the drama department is very different
to other things. But that's what I'm
everything
saying, we
else.
can talk about those differences.
But we can talk about all of that. So, let's go.
What was first year like for you? Because you had a different experience than I had.
Yeah, well, I had two first years
Mm.
because I matriculated 2015. Then 2016, I did a gap year. Well, I was supposed to take a gap year. And then I was fortunate enough to like get a scholarship. And they were like, you have to take it this year. If you don't, then it's gone. So I was like, okay, but I've already like started my gap year. Because, okay, in my gap year, I was dancing for a professional dance company, a contemporary dance company. And I had already like signed the contract, whatever, cool, done. Like it was done. And then I got this thing and they were like, you have to study this year. And I was like, okay. So now I'm messaging people, talking to people that have studied drama at UP to ask them like, can I do both in the first year? And everyone was like, no, baby, you can't do both. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna study BA General and just take the minimum requirement of like have the minimum amount of credits, right? So that meant, so then I did DFK, which was Drama and Film Studies. I did first year of that, which was open to everyone that does BA. Because I was like, let me get a head start. Cool. I did Drama and Film Studies 101. I did Spanish.
You were like, I already know this.
Because I'm doing the bare minimum, guys. So I did Spanish. I did Education.
Whoa.
Yeah, I did OPV.
That's
Education.
crazy.
It was fucked. I hated that
I
thing.
went to OPV.
I hated it so much. And I did AIM.
Oh.
Which for every single first year, no matter what your degree is, you have to do AIM, which is like a computer literacy course. So I did those four subjects.
There's two things that you have to do at the university before you're allowed to or eligible to get your degree, no matter who you are, except engineers don't do AIM.
Oh yeah.
But it's AIM, which is computer literacy, and UPO, which is kind of like an orientation program. It's online. It's supposed to take you, I think, 6 weeks, but you literally can complete it in
2 days.
I personally didn't take it in first year, which was when I was supposed to take it. And then I just did it literally the day before we got our degrees.
You were one of those people.
I did the whole thing the day before we got our degree.
No, I did it literally the first month. and I finished it like in one day because I was like, this is so stupid. I just want to get it out of the way.
But I kind of forgot that it existed. That's why I didn't do it.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Mm.
But people would like not get their degrees because they didn't do that.
Yeah, a lot of people would finish their degrees and then the university would be like, sorry, you're not eligible to graduate. You have to do UPO. Then they have to wait for the fall or the summer sessions to graduate.
So anyway, I did those 4 subjects, and meanwhile I was dancing. That was insane. And I wasn't driving yet, so I was taking the Gautrain bus.
Wow.
To and from varsity, from uni to Garsfontein, to the dance studio, and then I would do my dance classes.
So how would you get to the Gautrain station? Would you walk?
No, the buses.
Is there buses from?
There's
the buses.
The buses. So I would take a bus at Garsfontein and then it would take me to the Hatfield station. Then from the Hatfield station, walk to campus.
That's insane. Where's the Hatfield station?
Behind there, dude. In Hatfield.
In Hatfield.
In Hatfield.
Wow,
I don't know how to explain it to you. It's just there.
Close to the university or like far?
No, close.
Oh.
Close. It was like a 10-minute walk, let's say.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't bad. But yeah, so...
Yo, but you were walking with bags, girly. And like food.
Yeah, like my heavy ass laptop, my food. At the time I was vegan, starting my vegan life. So I had like, and at this time I didn't know much about nutrition and whatever. So I would just bring like an entire like pawpaw or like a whole melon. Like that's my food. And a spoon. So it was like the food, the dance clothes, the like laptop bag. Anyways. And yeah, that was insane. The only subject that I really enjoyed was drama and film studies because I mean I like that's what I wanted to study, so I took vigorous notes. Is that how you say it?
Drama and film studies was interesting because it was drama and film studies, but that was just because they couldn't change the title.
Yeah.
Because the schlep of changing the title, I think I don't know how your class was. Brother, he explained it to us in the first day. He was like, guys, I know this isn't technically drama and film studies anymore, but it kind of is, it kind of links, and honestly, it's too much slip to change the name. It takes something like 4 years to change the name or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's like, I would say it's drama and film studies, but really it's focused on like socio-political circumstances and...
like all the stuff we learned about feminism and
religion, the patriarchy,
identity politics.
Yeah.
All of that was drama and film studies.
And also... basic stuff that does happen in like drama and film studies, like if you see a screen, the mise-en-scène of it. Like what is it all,
different camera angles,
those things,
all that stuff.
But that was basic. That was like the first couple of weeks, and then
first year was so interesting. It was weird because I was like, I'm gonna be here next year, this is my department, these are my people, but I don't know them, and I'm also like, as soon as class ends, I'm rushing to go dance, so I couldn't really make connections with them, socialize. So it was like I kind of knew them, I didn't really, and they were like, so what do you study? I'm like, BA, but I want to study drama, but blah, 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 blah. Like it was a whole thing, and it was just weird.
That's so interesting.
It was so strange.
My experience
was really fun.
First year was so different because when she was doing her first year, I was in matric.
Yeah.
I didn't know about your existence, really. I was in another town living my life. And then I did my matric in 2016 and moved here in 2017. Then started at Tux. First of all, I was completely lost. I obviously didn't know the area. Like I said last time, I was driving for the first time in my life, which was absolutely terrifying to me.
And driving in Hatfield.
Crazy.
Which has one-ways everywhere. So yeah.
If you take the wrong turn, it's over for you. You're going to be 30 minutes late.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the parking situation, and I was new to parking a car. The parking situation is hell on campus. If you don't have to drive, don't. But so I had made 2 friends, like real friends. The one was my friend from back home that came to study, and the other was a girl I'd made at first year camp. Obviously I made a couple of friends at first year camp, but not like, I wouldn't call them close friends. They were just like people that I knew that I could like socialize with. And so I still remember the first day I ever came to campus. We were supposed to go to what is that venue called above the
Rotenbach
Hall. I was so incredibly confused. I had Lisa on the phone trying to explain to me what to do, and then she's like, okay, stay where you are, and then she comes in, I'm gone, then I'm in another spot because I thought she was there.
When you don't know the campus, it's so confusing. But yeah, dude, but going there in the beginning was really scary, especially because we had to do body and voice at the Rotenbach, which has just glass doors everywhere.
Like glass panes.
Glass panels, yeah. And everyone can just see you like fucking doing yoga. And
body and voice is like, I think the closest thing to it is yoga. The closest explanation is it's yoga. But you're literally like rolling on the floor, you're making weird sounds, your body's making weird shapes.
All the weird shit you expect drama kids to do
happens there.
That's what happens in that class.
So now all these random people from all different degrees, from all different years are just sitting, drinking their coffee, talking, chatting, whatever, and seeing you act like a cow.
And there's 50 first year drama students going, pleasure sigh. Like, it's so
that must have been so entertaining, honestly. Like, if I think, and now I have to sit on the Ola grass and watch a bunch of the first years do that, I would probably be so entertained.
It was hella embarrassing, dude.
It was embarrassing to be the first year doing it. But the Ola became kind of like, in my first year, it became like the place where I socialized, because
You were there a lot.
Yeah, I had lots of friends from other degrees and stuff that would meet there, so I would normally go there, which is literally on the other side of campus. I don't think after then I went there often, but it was like the place to hang out. It's like a big patch of grass, like a massive patch of grass, with a coffee shop and a food hall and another coffee shop, like all around it. So it's like really cute and pretty. We can insert a picture.
Yeah, we can.
It's really cute and pretty, and you can like, everybody sits there and socializes and stuff. It's really nice. But then there's I feel like you go there for a specific period of your life and then you just don't go.
And then you just don't. Yeah, it's like the novelty of it. Like you're like, ooh, the other girl's cool, I'm gonna make friends, talk, whatever, and then you're like, okay, done, finished now. But yeah, so that was first year. It was really interesting to me. Okay, well, my then second first year when I was actually doing the degree. I was so happy, dude. Oh my word. Also because like you had people that you knew from back home that came, and also one, but that like she not only came from your hometown but studied the exact same thing as you. Was like we were in the same group, everything. But for me, I didn't know anyone. Like this was a complete fresh start, and I love that shit, dude. Like last episode we spoke about how I love change and like evolving to new like stages of life. And the thing is, I think also because I came from a space where I was so like detached from people in my high school and like my fake friends from my high school. I had really bad falling out with like friends from high school. So I was just like, I'm over this shit. Like I just want to. There was one girl that did drama with me in school that auditioned for drama at Tix. And I saw her at the audition and I'm like, fuck this bitch. Also, I hated her.
Don't come here.
Like, love you now. Like, I have nothing against this person now. But back then, I hated her so much because she was new to the school in grade 11. She came like halfway through grade 11. And then she was just like good at everything. She got such good marks. I was the top student in drama and she fucking took my spot. And I was like, fuck you.
Whoever you are, girly. I see you.
And she was like, at the end of matric, we were like, what are you going to study? And she's like, I don't know, I'm either going to study drama or engineering.
You were like,
I was like, you fucking asshole. That's my spot. Like, you don't take my spot and then be like, I'm either going to act or I'm going to be an engineer. She's like, yeah, I just want to make things.
You were like, go be an engineer, babe.
I'm like, then leave. Anyways, she ended up studying engineering. Happy for you.
Good for her.
Also good for me because then I didn't have to see her. But
you're rude, girl.
No, but like I just really wanted a fresh start, like new people that I didn't
Now I
know.
get that.
And it was so good too, because the thing is, what I'm trying to get at was varsity, the drama department, my studies, was everything that I wanted it to be.
Hi.
It really was. It was like me wanting to meet people that have the same mindset as me, the same work ethic, like just cool ass fucking people. And I'm like, that's everyone that was there was like that.
Yeah, it was not what I wanted it to be at all. Right? It wasn't what I wanted at all. The view I had of it was very different, but I'm grateful that it wasn't. Now I'm like...
So what did you expect?
Just it to be different. I wanted it to be like... did you ever watch like, okay, this is the best way I can explain it. You know, Step Up, like, if you think, like, okay, here's gonna be a dance, and they like put it together, they're like rehearsing 12 hours a day, like, that's what I thought. I was like, we're gonna get there, it's gonna be cutthroat, like, it's gonna be like all the stuff, and it was the opposite of that. It was like, you are not acting, you're first year, you're gonna do nothing, and we're gonna teach you how to be a person, and whatever. And I'm grateful that it wasn't that, because now I'm a person, I've evolved.
Yeah.
But even though I came with someone that went to school with me, I still felt like it was a fresh start. I didn't feel like, oh, well, this person is like holding me back or like anything like that. The only thing that I thought was like strange was because we knew each other and we went to school together, then, and we were familiar with each other, we would always like sit together, whatever, and everyone assumed we were like best friends.
Yeah, literally, that's like in first year, everyone was like, okay, you and this girl are friends, cool. This one are friends. Like,
yeah,
it was just the thing. But I see what you're saying.
Not saying she wasn't like a good friend. She turned out being a great friend, but like when we moved, it just wasn't that.
Yeah. But people just associated you guys together. But it's interesting that the thing is, I think for me, I was just expecting, like, my expectations of university was just the people that I was going to be surrounded by, and you were expecting something from the actual degree. So I didn't put any expectations on like what the classes were going to be like, what we were going to learn. I was just like, it is what it is. We're going with the process. I was
really excited to meet the people also, but like the people were also really different, because now remember, I'm coming from a small town, and I hoped and prayed that I would meet a diverse group of people, which I did, but which is different from what you expected to be, because how could I couldn't anticipate something I didn't know.
Yeah.
So it was strange because I was confronted with a lot of stuff, and also just people who grew up in Pretoria or like in a bigger city have a different mindset. They have a different like way of living life.
I was just gonna say that.
Which now I've adopted, like, but back then I didn't, and I didn't understand the flow of things, like how there's a different rhythm to their lives, and I didn't understand that flow, and I was very overwhelmed with it, because obviously I come from, well, my life was always busy, but it was, everyone around me wasn't. You know, everyone's lives were really slow, and my life was the busy life, and now everyone's life is busy.
Yeah.
And it was overwhelming. Like, the energy of it was overwhelming. Right. And
yeah, I was gonna say that because I grew up in Pretoria, so I knew like
the hustle and the bustle.
Yeah.
I didn't. And remember, I was living with people I didn't really know at that time, and I was dating someone who still lived. Well, he lived in another university town. He studied at another university, and he would get upset when I like made friends and went out with them to drink coffee or whatever. He would get like angry. So it was like really,
toxic behavior.
Yeah, it was like weird. And then whenever I was like really excited, I remember I went back home and I was super excited to tell him like about all my friends that I had made at first year camp, and I was like showing him pictures. I was like, this is this guy, this is this girl, this is what they do, this is what they're gonna study. And every person I explained to him, he just got more and more upset.
Oh no.
Yeah. So like that was just bad and toxic. If you have some toxic person, if you're gonna go into university, just don't do that. You're like withholding yourself from so much. And I'm so happy and grateful that I realized what was going on and just stopped it, because I felt like after that relationship had ended, I really lived. Like that was like probably, what was it, like March? Because university started in February. It was like March-ish, I would say.
Yeah. I'm glad you cut it off quick.
Yeah.
Dude.
But it felt like forever.
I also think people, like, when you go to university, whoever you're with in high school, like, it's going to end at some point. This didn't happen to me, but so I'm the wrong person to speak about.
Yeah, you've been dating your high school boyfriend.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. We can talk about
relationships. You're married. I'm like, you've been dating him. No, you're married now. I just forget sometimes.
Yo, dude, when we were prepping for this episode, she's like, just talk about, like, first year, like, who you were dating at the time, how it was. I'm like,
no, I knew that you were dating at me, but, like, what was the relationship like versus, like, high school? Because the relationship, the dynamics obviously shift.
You know, that's a weird thing. Can I talk about this quickly? Side notes. Amir and I dated throughout high school. Well, on and off, whatever. But from my grade 11 year, we were dating, and then we didn't break up till now. Why are you laughing?
I don't know, that's such a weird thing to say, as if, like, you should have broken up. No.
Well, you never know. Like, sometimes people take breaks.
Yeah.
Like, before they get engaged or whatever, they take a big break, and then they're like, I love you, actually. But that happened with us in high school.
Mm.
Anyways. So what's interesting is that I then went to university. Well, we both took gap years. He was at the cricket academy for 2 years. And then I started studying, and he studied through UNISA.
Mm.
So he never had like the university experience.
Mm.
And he didn't come to my university, so we didn't have that experience together. It was just so weird. Like, I feel like for first and second year, my relationship was on a phone. Also because he went to England for 6 months and then Scotland for 6 months. Dude, that was so freaking
Your
strange.
relationship was long distance for a while.
It was crazy.
Yo, that is insane, dude.
It's insane. And I was studying and going through all these changes while that was happening. Like,
Yo, like, life at that point was so hectic. Like, there was just so much happening. And I also met my current boyfriend in first year.
Mm.
My current partner, I should say, in first year. And I don't know, I hate the word boyfriend.
yeah, I also don't really like
I
that
hate
word.
it. It sounds so dumb. My boyfriend. Like, first of all, he's not a boy, he's a man. And second of all, like,
Yeah.
he's my partner. He's not my
Boyfriend
boyfriend.
feels like you're still in school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not my
I
boyfriend.
agree with that.
So my current partner I met in first year, which that's a different story for another day. But I met him in first year while I was also going through all these changes, and honestly, thank God that I did, because he really helped me, because he had grown up here and stuff, and like he became a person who, because I didn't know you, and both the other girls that I was friends with, I was friends with them, not friends, I was friends.
I was like a friend.
I was friends with them, but both of them hadn't come from here, so it was like really hard. And then I met him, and like he would phone me every day or see me every day. He would come see me and phone me every single day. So then he would speak to me, and we weren't dating or anything. We were just friends, and he would phone me, and then I could speak to him about the stuff. Like,
he was like your support structure.
yeah, I would literally be like, listen, I hate this. I'm getting lost every day. It's so hard for me. And then he would literally come pick me up. He's like, here, we're driving here, whatever.
Oh,
He would just help me. And also,
that's so cute.
getting introduced to his friends and stuff made me feel like, okay, I know people here. Like,
yeah, like you got integrated into the lifestyle.
Yeah, and it was more than just university, because his friends didn't come to the university. So like, whenever we did stuff, when I did stuff with my friends that had come from other towns, it was always linked to the university, or it was like linked to the what do you call it? Residences.
The raises. So that was first year, just managing all of that. And it was also weird, like in our degree, because you come to study drama and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna act, I'm gonna be a performer. And then first year starts and they're like, actually,
You're gonna work
in this department. We do things a bit differently. In first year, you're not allowed to perform.
on
Like,
stage.
obviously you have your acting classes and whatever, but on stage for like during the festivals and stuff, you're not allowed to. You have to work backstage or as a stage manager or a stage hand.
Even in just their shows, like I worked in De Carlena's.
Yeah, the internal shows. So a lot of people were very angry about that.
I was shook.
Yeah, I was also shook, but I was like, okay, that's fine, cool. Like, I also, the thing is, I knew I wanted to study drama, but I didn't know where I wanted to go after that. So yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna try everything. And that's why I ended up going to TEX and not TUT. I was gonna study musical theatre at TUT.
I don't want to talk about TT.
Anyways, I was gonna do that or go to Oakfields College. But long story short, I didn't do that. I went to UP because I saw that they do a bit of everything. And I was like, this is what I want.
Girl, my second choice was a lawyer at Porsche. At Booker.
We have such different lives. I don't understand. I was thinking about this morning. We have the complete opposite lives, but also the same, but in a different font.
Like, same narratives in a different font, but different. Yeah, I was shook by the fact that we weren't allowed to act, but I immediately was like, oh, actually, this makes sense. And then I was like, yeah, of course we have to work. And then I did. Actually, it was a very interesting experience to work backstage. And I think it's something you can't replace. Like,
dude, it was so good for us because the thing is, a lot of people, like, let's say if you want to be a performer and you only want to do that and you've only been exposed to that, you don't understand the stress and like the shit that everyone else goes through. And once you actually do the job and you understand what people are going through, then it's so much easier to have a whole like collaborative space.
Especially for me, because the first time I'd ever auditioned for a show, I was the main character of the show and I got the role, and I never worked backstage or was part of the ensemble or anything like that. And then every other show that I was in, I was either a supporting character or a main character. I never worked backstage. So getting that experience was vital, but also you say that you didn't like know where you wanted to go. I was so sure of where I wanted to go because I was like, I've been acting for 6 years. I've been writing for like 4 years at that time. I was like, this is what I'm doing. And getting every other point of view changed that.
So you came into first year wanting to be an actress. Interesting.
But I very quickly was like...
And that shifted every single year, I think.
Yeah, I very quickly was like, acting is amazing and I love it. But there are so many other things here that I can explore. So I should do that while I'm here. And I did and I loved it. And I'm grateful that I did that.
I was so excited like to actually just study. Because I was like, you know what? Whenever I tell people I'm studying drama, they're like, oh, you want to be an actress? And then I say, well, not really. Then the next thing they say is, oh, you want to teach drama? And I'm like, guys, there's so many different other things. And then I'm like, but what are they?
Yeah, I knew about the other things also, but I didn't really care about them because I was so sure. I was like, but I'm doing this and I know what I'm doing. And I remember like, then I started acting and we had acting with Rian. And I started really questioning myself. I was like, I don't actually know if I'm good at this. Like, am I actually good at this? Do I know what I'm doing? I'm not sure. Then we had our first acting exam and I don't know if you remember how this went. He was like, you're going to come individually. I'm going to sit outside on a cement bench with you in the nature. And I'm going to give you individual feedback. And it's going to be cutthroat. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about you and why I think it. And you're not going to get defensive. You're going to think about it. And process that. And take it to heart. And then do something with it. Be better. Be whatever.
That was the scariest.
Was I terrified?
Ever.
He was like, and just so you know, nobody got distinctions, so don't even think that you're going to come here and I'm going to tell you that you're good. I'm not giving you positive feedback. This is negative feedback so that you can know what to improve on.
Well, constructive criticism, yeah. That was so intense also. I forgot that acting was rough, dude. Like, if you get a 69, you're like, wow, doing
the
so
best
good.
class.
Because you're...
But then I went and
especially in first year.
Yo, I was so nervous because now I'm questioning myself. That was the first time that I really, really, really questioned myself. Because before that I was like, am I good? Well, I got the role. I don't care. Then I really started questioning myself. I'm like, I don't know if I'm actually really good at this. Should I be doing this? And I remember sitting down on the bench and like my heart was beating so fast. And I was like looking at him. I was so scared. And then he was like, I don't have really anything negative to say to you.
He said the same
and
thing to
like,
me.
And then he went, but I think you're so used to relying on talent that you're not working for it.
He read you like a book.
And I was like, he said, what? And then I went and thought about it and I was like, he's actually completely right. Because I was like, I know it's you, I'm just doing it. I didn't really think about it or like work with it or interpret it or try. I just was like, I know what to do, I'm doing it. But he read me like a book.
He read you like a book, dude. And it's so deep because that, I think, is the difference between like... Okay, no, I don't want to say that. What I'm saying is... I think that's what actually studying drama like taught us is that a lot of people are good at acting.
A lot of people have talent.
A lot of people have talent. But you can tell when someone is just going through the motions and when someone's actually putting in the work and actually like digging deep.
And talent is amazing and beautiful. Listen, you can use talent to get far in your life. Don't let people tell you can't. You need a passion and talent for something. And it doesn't have to be massive talent. You don't need to be naturally the best at something. But some talent will get you far. But going from that talent and saying, okay, this is what I feel internally. Where do I go from here to be better? To be more in tune with this life. To be more in tune with whatever I'm doing. That is the thing that makes or breaks you. Because you can be so talented and have zero passion for it.
And that's the thing also, studying drama, especially like an acting course, they don't teach you how to act. They don't. They teach you to like look inside yourself, to dig deep, to reflect, to critically analyze yourself and others. And that in turn makes you...
They just hold up a big mirror basically to your inside. They cut you open and take your whole personality apart and lay it out on a massive stage and put a mirror over it and then they say, look.
Yeah.
And you get to rearrange the pieces. And doing that is what makes you the actor that you are at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I really love the way that like we progressed from first year to second year to third year, especially in acting. Like first year was kind of like dipping your toes in. But at the same time we did a lot of emotional work. Was it first year or second year where we pushed the wall?
First year. Listen, I was thinking about this the other day. Okay, we're going to talk about pushing the wall. We're going to explain what it is now. But I met 2 people that went to high school with me for coffee. And they're not drama people. The one studied civil engineering, and the other one, she's an artist, but she was an architect. She studied architecture. And so their degrees was very fact-based, not feelings. Here's the work, let's do it.
Theoretical.
And I met them for coffee, and they were telling me about their degrees, and I was sitting there telling them. I pushed against the wall, and I felt it move. And I was thinking, and I was so passionate.
I was pushing the wall and I was crying.
I was passionate about it, and and the other day I was thinking, and they were very polite about it, but the other day I was thinking, these poor people, they'll have to sit and listen to me, and they just didn't, they were like, of course, they weren't in that mindset. They probably thought this girl is actually going insane. Like, I was actually that weirdo from drama class.
Not even that, they were like, Shame, you're actually wasting all your money.
Like, you're wasting your time and money.
You're straight up wasting your life away.
And they're people from my hometown, they knew my mom, so they were probably thinking, like, my poor fucking mom is like, here, paying for my studies and all this stuff, and here I am, like, pushing walls, guys.
No, it sounds ridiculous, but guys, it's so important.
It's the building block.
It's such a deep... Yeah, I don't even know what was that? Stanislavski? Was it Meisner?
Stanislavski, I think.
Stanislavski. Because we started with Stanislavski, then we went on to? Meisner. And then we did...
Barteniev. No, Barteniev was in movement, but we started doing Barteniev and Lava. We did Lava, Lesak, Barteniev. Barteniev is a different story.
Okay, wait, but pushing the wall. Basically, this exercise, what it was... Do you want to...
What it was?
What had happened was... We literally just had to stand against the wall, put our hands on it, close your eyes, push the wall. But while you're pushing, your eyes are closed. Your lecturer is coaching you through the exercise. So he's saying, you're pushing this wall, you're putting all your might into it, all your body weight, everything, but the wall is not moving.
But more.
And then the fact that he's coaching you through it gets you more emotional, because he's like, the wall's not moving. Why is it not moving? It's supposed to be moving. You're putting all your weight into it. 30 people are pushing the wall. Why is it not moving? And then you're like, ah!
You're imagining that it's not a wall, like it's a structure that can...
The thing is, what is the point of that exercise?
Emotional, like it was to see like the emotional strength of something, and also it was imagining if we're gonna move this wall, what is it going to take from us to move this wall? If you're an actor and I say to you, here's a coffee cup, pick it up, but there's nothing in it. What is that exercise?
What does it feel like?
How are you going to do it to pretend there's coffee in it, to drink it, and also to convince your mind and yourself that it's happening?
But also I think that exercise was the building block of
everything.
Which is, what emotion are you feeling in your body, and how does it feel in your body? Because later on, when you have to portray a character that is feeling frustrated and wants to cry and sob out of frustration, how does that feel in your body? It's not just gonna come. Like, you have to put your body through that so that the emotion can be.
Well, it depends on what acting method you're following, but you can.
That's what we were.
That was one,
Which is my favorite, actually. I love using my body and then feeling the emotion from it.
Emotional memory.
Yeah.
The truth is also like, not the truth. What I want to say is, the thing is, at the end of that exercise, what is so wacky, and I think like it's you convincing your mind, but like it's incredible how it happens and like how you can feel it, because you can be a logical person and say this wall's not going to move, it's a wall. But once you're done with that exercise, which is long, it takes like an hour and a half. It's like long. It's long. You're going through that exercise for forever. You're sweating. It's a lot. Then at the end, you feel the wall move.
Yeah, you do.
And you can tell yourself like this wall's not moving, it's a real wall, but you feel it. It's moving.
That's what I wanted to say about first year. First year with Rian specifically felt like all of these acting exercises felt like I was on drugs, bro.
It feels like you're on drugs. It really does.
I'm like, this is what psychedelics feel like.
Yes.
Literally. Especially when we would do things with the umbilical cord. We stood outside. Imagine this. 30 students standing outside, dressed in black. Standing outside, you can pick anything, like a tree, a building, whatever. And we stared at that bitch for 45 minutes. Breathing to it, letting it breathe back, all this stuff. We go back inside, Rian's like, what did you feel? People are saying crazy shit. They're like, I felt the blue line connecting me to the thing. But it's true. Like, that's when you're standing there for so long.
Like, the reality of it is they're teaching you energy work, but you don't know it.
It's energy work. It definitely is. You know, yesterday, I need to send you this meditation thing. Yesterday I was doing this meditation. We can put
I love when you get passionate.
This girl's name is Iris Daly. She has a YouTube channel and she has like a 30-day meditation thing. And on the second day you do chi, energy work. And it's that thing. We did this in acting where you feel, make an energy ball, whatever. And this is like actual like energy work.
Yeah, we were doing energy work for a lot of first year and second year actually. But we would also remember the energy work we would do where you hold your hand and you breathe to your hand and then you envelop the whole room.
Yes, and then you breathe to the audience and to whatever.
That's also energy work. But yeah, first year was straight up like you're on drugs. But I also think it's like the way that, I don't want to say it's manipulation, but it is emotional manipulation to your benefit. That like they're coaching you through stuff in such a way that really what's happening is your brain is getting dopamine hits that it's not used to in very specific calm environments. So the environment is incredibly calm and relaxed and very, very spiritual almost. And then you're getting these dopamine hits, but in between the dopamine hits, they're making you angry and frustrated and sad. And then there's this huge high. So of course you're gonna feel all of that. And it's really, like, honestly, it's amazing if you ever get the chance to go to like an acting workshop and you're ready to commit to it though. You have to be ready to commit. Like, you have to be willing to look silly or feel kind of weird. But if you're willing to
not just that, willing to expose yourself to different emotions because it brings up a lot of trauma.
It does. It definitely does.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna go to a credible place, I promise you they know how to deal with that. They know that breath work and work with your body and emotions bring up trauma, and they know how to guide you through that.
Deal with it. Yeah.
But it can be shocking and it can be hard. But if you're willing to do that, absolutely do it. It can be such a beautiful, amazing experience. Honestly, you will connect with yourself and others in a way that you never have.
And that's the thing. This is the whole point of today's video. The reason why we love talking about our university experience is because of our degree, because of the things we did. It wasn't just acting, because acting is not acting. An acting class is not an acting class. It's a life lesson. We literally, it was like you said, it was such a spiritual experience. And oh my gosh.
It reshapes you as a person. Like, really, because I said this before, but they question everything that you are. And like I explained it earlier, if they unpack every part of yourself and your soul and they prompt you to do that and to commit to that, and you're unpacking every bit of who you are, all your layers, and you're going through every experience you had in your life that led you to this point, and you're questioning in that, you're going, why did I come out thinking this or believing this? And you're deconstructing that and constructing something else. Of course, that's going to be a point of massive growth and change. So of course, that's going to be something that you're constantly referring to, because that experience is the reason why I can sit here today and talk like this. It's the reason why I am who I am, why I react in personal ways, personal situations the way that I do, in professional situations the way that I do, because of that experience.
It was so beautiful, dude. I actually miss it. I'm gonna cry.
But it's also the reason why I think we talk a lot about, like, why are we so reflective of ourselves? We're constantly reflecting on our emotions, on our choices, on why did I feel that way and react this way? And I think that was the basis of it.
We were programmed to do it for 4 years straight.
Yeah, and we get frustrated a lot because other people don't necessarily do the same thing. We're like, how can I sit and reflect on my actions and he can't? But other people weren't necessarily prompted to do that. We have been literally programmed and drilled in, like, if you've made a choice, why did you make that choice? Even if it was good, question it so that you can know why you did it.
Yeah. And not just that, like, not just choices, but down to, like, your actual body, your being. Like, I'm sitting this way and it's causing pain here. Why? Is there
your habitual patterns?
Oh my gosh, let's not get into body and voice, dude, because I can talk about that for years and years.
But I do want to get just into a little bit. In second year, continuing from this, then our body and voice lecturer, who was absolutely amazing, an amazing man, Mornay Steyn. He is now at the University of Cape Town. If you ever get a chance to be taught by him, to be lectured by him in any way, or do a workshop with him, I know he does workshops, do it. He's an amazing man, a beautiful soul. Even if you don't care for the the academics of it all, which isn't really academics, but if you don't care about that at all, the theory, the whatever, he is just a beautiful, beautiful human. Like, as a human being, just talking to him, connecting with him, he's absolutely incredible.
I love that man, and he changed our lives
forever. And he left in second year, at the end of second year.
No, yeah. Anyways,
it was devastating. But we did acting with him that year, and we did group coherence. And that is what I want to talk about, because
we have to talk about group coherence.
Is first of all the most frustrating thing I've ever done in my life.
But this is the thing. I find it so interesting. I wanted to say this earlier, that you like come from a place where you were like the lead and like supporting the lead and all of that, and I've only done ensemble work.
Yeah, and but group coherence and Body Voice really gave me an appreciation for ensemble work. First year I got an appreciation for the work that goes into it, like what actually goes into it. What is it that you're doing? Like, it's hard work and it's tough and whatever. Because before that I was cutthroat. I was like, if you're ensemble and you're not doing your shit correctly, I look bad, so don't do that.
Yeah.
And then that's where I learned. But then second year really gave me appreciation for the emotional work that it can be, because I was always like, being a lead is emotionally exhausting, and it is. Being a supporting role, emotionally exhausting, yes. Being ensemble is exhausting in a different
way
level. Like, it's just.
So what had happened was we were a group of, let's say, 30 people. Now they got us to line up in one straight line.
Hang on, let's just explain group coherence first.
Oh, okay.
Group coherence is how you're reacting to the people around you and how you guys move in synchronicity with each other. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to do things exactly the same. So say, if I say she's a stranger and we're sitting here and somebody says clap, we're going to clap at the same time, different rhythms, feeling her energy, clapping at that time, whatever, not looking, she's going to clap, I'm going to clap, you know? If you're sitting in a hall with a bunch of people clapping, are you going to clap? All that stuff. But also, it's like,
it's action and reaction.
It's small things like us sitting here and like, if we have to sit here in complete silence, I'm still reacting to her body language without knowing. But now I have to make myself aware of that.
Yeah.
What is her body language and how am I reacting to that? And what is natural and what isn't?
It's a natural thing that happens, so it's just becoming aware of it, like you said. Like, I just remembered the piece that we did for group coherence, where we were sitting literally at a table like this. And the first 2 minutes of that piece was complete silence, but we had 2 glasses. And it was just like, whenever you feel that it's coming, one of us would grab the glass, and then how does that affect you?
Yeah, how am I reacting
like,
to you?
Are you also going to grab the glass? Is the way that I grab the glass making you grab yours,
or is it making me anxious? How's my character reacting to being anxious of her grabbing her glass? Or am I wary of the way? Or did she grab it like doubtfully, and now I'm like, why is she like that? You know? And we did that piece multiple times, and every time it changed.
It was just
really cool. But you know, it was really interesting.
It's about being present.
I'm probably going to edit this out because I don't know if this is gonna. But last week's episode, there was a lot of group coherence happening in the space. Like, if we look at the way that we play off of each other in that episode, that is group coherence.
With moving glass. Yeah, like, it sounds very out there and crazy, like when you don't really understand the concept or when you're not exposed to it. But okay, so then this is the exercise that we did that's going to make more sense. So we all stood in a line next to each other. Now you have to stand with your eyes closed in complete silence, no fidgeting or moving of any kind, because that affects the energy of the group, right? So you're all standing, eyes closed, next to each other. Now what has to happen is, as a group, you have to feel when is the right moment for all of you to take a step forward at the exact same time. And there's an opposite line doing the same thing, and you're stepping towards each other. Oh yeah, there was 2 lines in front of each other, and then we had to walk past each other.
Like through each other.
Through each other, yeah. So that the thing is, like, if one person in the group isn't present with everyone else, or whatever it is,
isn't cohering to the group,
if everyone's energies are off, you're never going to take that step forward, because one person will take it, then other people will follow, and it's not about you taking and the other one following. It's about all doing it together.
It's supposed to be coherent. It's supposed to be, and we're going to take a step, and we're taking the step, but without saying it.
We stood there for 45 minutes.
In complete silence, being completely present, feeling exactly what the person next to you is doing. You can't dwell. It's almost like you're meditating, but you're meditating on the people next to you. You can't lose focus for a second.
You can't. It's so draining.
You can't drift away for a second. Your thoughts have to be completely present. Your body has to be completely present. You can't make a breath sound that somebody else isn't making. You can't move your hand or your finger or twitch your toe or scratch. You can't. And obviously, your brain's reaction to that is, she asleep? Why is she so still? We should scratch to see if we're awake. My head is really itchy. My toe is itching. Actually, my leg hurts. My ankle is getting a cramp. And you can't focus on any of that.
No. And what's beautiful about it is once you get to that place where everyone is on the same like wavelength, you can feel everyone's, not just like body heat next to you, like you can feel everyone's energies. You can also feel if Sally at the end of the line has lost focus. You know?
And that is exactly why we stood like that. So we've done this exercise. At that point, we'd done this exercise a couple of times. And every time it was beautiful and easy. The line moved in maybe 2 minutes. And altogether, it was always beautiful. And then this one day, this specific day, one girl in the line, in our specific line, and a person in the other line. But one girl in our line specifically had just checked out. She was not present, she wasn't there, she wasn't committed to it, she didn't really want to be there.
Which is okay, like, you can't every day have a good day, you know? And sometimes there is going to be a point where you're not there, and it's fine. But the thing is, then how is the group going to handle it? How are you all going to make this something that
works with you?
Because, you know, you might be having an off day, but now it's show day. Like, you have to step on stage in 5 minutes.
That was exactly what it was. It was like showing, what are you going to do? And so that lecturer at that moment, instead of stepping in and saying, okay guys, we've been standing here for 45 minutes, let's get it moving, he just left us.
He let it go. He was like, figure it out.
Because that's exactly what he was saying. He was like, if it's show day and this is happening, what are you going to do?
What must happen?
She must get herself in focus. You must help her get in focus. You guys must make a decision as a group that she must follow or something. But now you're doing that in silence, guys. It's not like you can be like, hey, we're going to move now. You need to move with us.
But you know what happened? Do you remember what happened? It was so fucking beautiful. I'll never forget. In that line, let's say this one person was here. She wasn't focusing. And what the groups, when we started to get, so obviously there was a point where people were frustrated, like then a lot of people were not in it anymore, whatever. But then there was a point where we all just calmed down. And what happened was we all started breathing at the same time.
Yes.
We synced our breaths. And then with that, we finally got the step forward.
Yes. And that step felt like a leap.
We literally took the step and we were like, yes!
And I was crying, I remember this. Because the thing is, it was very emotional, like, I don't know how to explain it. The thing basically is like you're standing there and you're going through it and you're focusing and you're focusing and you're focusing and you're focusing and the thing that you're wanting to happen just isn't happening. So obviously your brain is like searching for like things to happen. So what happens in that time is your brain just brings up like, it's almost like your subconscious uses that time for processing. So it basically brings up shadow work. It's like, why did you react this way when your mom said this? Why, whatever. And so you're not thinking about those things because you're trying to focus. And then all these emotions are surfacing. Like all the frustration you've suppressed, all the anger you've suppressed. It's just surfacing in your body and you're trying to not deal with it, but also deal with it. It was very frustrating.
Very frustrating.
There was a point where I was so angry and I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I was like...
Obviously when you're in that moment, you're like, fuck this. But once we got past that, and we like learned the value of like the lesson and all that stuff, then we were like, this was beautiful. It was
beautiful. It was the most frustrating thing, but it was so beautiful. And like the fact that that one lesson is something we still refer to and think about and whatever, just shows you like the magnitude of that.
Yeah, and I mean that happened literally on a weekly basis. Not this specific exercise, but every single week when we came in and did something new, it was the same process, just in a different way. So
they teach you a lot about emotional processing that you don't know. Like subconsciously, they're teaching you all these things about processing your emotions and facing your emotions and feeling your emotions in your body, what it does. It's actually really cool.
That's the thing. In first and second year, a little bit of third year, you're just going through the motions. You're not actually understanding what is going on.
Third year is when it starts clicking.
Third year it starts clicking, and in honors, you learn the theory of it. And like that it's actual science and like all this shit, and you're like, damn.
Yeah, you learn
changes
like,
your whole life.
Yeah, you learn like the biological process of it. What is your brain doing in this moment? Why is it happening like this? What is your mind looking for? Why is it bringing up these emotions and what are you doing with them? Why is it putting them in your body? All this stuff.
And it's just like so beautiful the way that we went through all of that, because you can't learn all the theory and stuff of it before doing it. You have to just dive into it and do it, and you're not gonna understand it. Even if they had taught us,
I wouldn't understand.
We
what
would
they
have been
were saying.
like, "What are you talking about?"
But it was very frustrating to go through the process, because it's also trusting the process, because now you have to trust that at some point you're gonna understand, even though now you don't, and you have to not understand and be committed, which is hard, because you don't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it, but you have to be so committed to doing it.
The commitment, yeah.
It's very hard. And third year is also a beautiful year, just in terms of like, you are specializing for the first time. Well, we did. We specialize in 4 specific subjects. You just feel more direction in your life. You know what you're doing. This is the way I'm going.
Can we just talk about how they were like, put on a show? This was before we even started rehearsing anything. They were like, write like a treatment of how you're gonna put on a show with a $10,000 rand budget.
So you budget. You're like,
so you
I'm
budget
gonna
for all of
have
that.
3 skirts with this material that looks this way. My set is gonna be like this. I'm gonna have this big structure that looks like this. All the stuff.
Now, once you've done that, you come back and they're like, okay, now put on this show with no budget.
Make this happen with no budget.
Excuse me. But also, I think that was like, that had to happen.
The amazing part about that is we did it. We did it, and it felt like the most amazing thing ever when we actually do it.
It's important to know that. And as an artist and
in a South African art.
In a South African context, you have to know how to do those things, because we don't have Hollywood money. And you're never going to have Hollywood money. Like, it's just not going to happen. Perhaps,
especially in theatre.
At some point, but maybe not in our lifetime.
Especially not in theatre, guys, no. And
you have to know how to make it work.
It's improv, also, like improvising on the spot. Like, what we had this whole idea of building these massive structures that we're going to go across the stage with these wire things. That didn't happen. How are we going to make that? We made exactly the same image using what was already in the theatre. Like, those things, and it actually came together, I think, better than it would have otherwise. But those things that happened there, it just, like, the way your mind has to think about and process things, like, makes you a more creative human being.
Yeah, dude, problem solving at its best.
And also, like, that's when it's like, you also have personal relationship and personal dynamics. Our first ever fight was in that moment, because we didn't realize, like, we didn't know at that point that the problem was, I can see pictures in my head. You can tell me I want to do this, and I can see it happen in my head. I'm like, okay, that's not going to look good. This is going to look good. She cannot do that. And we didn't know at that point that was the problem.
It's just blank, dude. Like, I can't picture things. And so then I had an idea of, like, let's moving the set around in a different way. And she was like,
it was the last rehearsal.
Yeah, it was like just before performance day. And I'm like, no, we need to change the set because it's not looking right. And she was like, but it's going to look shit the way you want it to look. And I'm like, but can we just try it? And she's like,
now, let me just explain that moving the set in that way would have cost us 30 minutes of rehearsal. It's our last rehearsal. We still have stuff to do. We still have things to block. We needed that time. And she's like, we're moving the sets.
And she's like, we're not moving the sets because it's going to look shit. And I'm like, how do you know it's going to look shit if you haven't seen it? And she's like,
how do you not know that it's going to look shit?
And then she was like, we got upset because she was just telling me it's going to look shit. And I was like,
you were adamant that we have to
adamant that we, and I'm like, why aren't you listening to me? So you think that you're always right and I'm always wrong. Like, is that what's happening?
And then at some point you were also like telling me, so now shame. The other people that were there, and we just like, guys, stop it, it's okay, Jess, let's just move the stage, like whatever. I'm like, no,
that's not your fight.
And then at some point I was like telling you, like, listen, I don't care what you want right now, we're not going to do this because we need to start rehearsing right now, we're wasting time, whatever. And you were like, you're so rude, I can't believe you just said that to me. And I was like, you're my best friend, you're supposed to understand that I don't mean it that way. And it was like, that was the breaking point. I was like crying, you were crying.
And I left.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, then you do the rehearsal. And I fucked off.
Yeah. And then at some point we moved it because I was like, okay, fine. Later, see, I think it was like the next day or something. We all came in.
It was that rehearsal.
Was it that rehearsal?
Because then I took a break for like 10 minutes. I walked outside. And then I came back in and it was the way I wanted it.
Oh, I can tell you what happened.
And I was like, this is cock.
Guys.
Like, move it back.
I was like so upset. I'm standing behind, I'm like in the wing. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you. I didn't know that you left. So I was in the wing trying to breathe, like trying to like just center myself. And then Monique comes in, oh, I love that girl. She's like, Jess, you have to breathe, listen, I understand. We want things in different ways sometimes. Let's just do it. We can quickly do it. We can ask everyone to help us. We're going to move it. And then we're going to show her. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We'll move it back after rehearsal. Don't worry about it. And I was like, at that point, I was just like, okay, let's just do it. So we all moved the whole thing, which was so heavy, so time intensive, so much needed to happen. We did all of that. And I looked at it and was like, yeah, it looks exactly the way I thought it was going to look. And she was like, this looks so bad.
And I was like, this is bad, guys. Move back, sorry.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It just teaches you like conflict situations, like first of all, when is an appropriate time to say that things need to happen, time management, and then also like when the conflict is there and the emotion is there and the height and whatever is there, what are we going to do about it?
How are we going to manage it?
That moment actually was really pivotal.
Yeah.
And it helped in all future things to be like, okay guys, you need this to happen and I need this to happen. But also then after, when was it? Like in honors, this is what happened. I think I saw a TikTok or something about somebody saying, some people hear voices in their heads, so it's like a narration, and some people don't. And
the internal monologue versus abstract thoughts.
Talking to her, and I'm like, how can you not who doesn't have a narrative? And she's like, I don't have one.
I'm like, what do you mean you have an internal monologue?
Yeah, I'm like, I have a whole voice that tells me everything I'm gonna say, that's speaking to me, and I speak to it. Like, there's a voice. And she was like, girly.
I'm like, what do you mean you don't feel your thoughts? And she's like, what?
It took us, I was like literally sitting with her, like, explain to me, okay, you're having a thought, what is it? What does it look like in your brain? She's like, it's a bubble. I'm like, And then from there is where we got to the point of like, you can't see things in your head. Then we realized what happened back then was she could not visualize it, and I could, so I got frustrated with her because I'm like, I just assumed she can visualize it, so why is she not using her brain?
Then we had a breakthrough.
So honors was really interesting because obviously we have spoken about this before. It was supposed to be everything that we hoped and wished for, and it really was going to be.
Yeah, we spoke about this in the first episode.
It was going to be.
It was 2020, like it is what it is, and we did what we could
because of the panorama.
The thing with honors is I checked out after 6 months. Like the first 6 months I was in it, and I was like, okay, this is fine, cool. The second 6 months of the year was finished. I wasn't there, I wasn't engaging, I feel bad for my lecturers that they had to experience me being like that. But at the end of the day, we got through it. Like, it is what it is.
But I feel the same, like honors, just focusing on thesis was probably the worst thing that had ever happened to me.
If you're an academic person, someone that enjoys that, then amazing. You will love like a year like that. But for us, it was hell. It was terrible.
I hated it, and
honors was just therapy. Like for a year, it was just therapy, and we had to type a thesis in between.
And honestly, like if it wasn't for the panorama, I probably would be very happy to do masters because I would have felt like, this was perfect.
Sorry. You 100% would have done masters. And that's the thing, we were already in that university for 3 years. We knew the people, we knew the system, we knew the curriculum. We were like, okay, we know what to expect for honors. And we had those expectations. And they were going to come true. And then it didn't. So that was extremely shocking.
So grieving.
But that was the best advice we got that year, I think, from one of our lecturers. She was like, guys, it's okay. Take 2 weeks, a month, whatever you need to grieve what you thought was going to happen this year. And then we move on.
But she did emphasize it. She was like, move on. At some point, move on. Take the time to grieve and to say, this isn't what I wanted it to be. And my reality didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to be. And I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I didn't do something that's made it happen. It's no one's fault. But it happened. And take that grief and whatever and then move forward.
Move forward. Yeah.
Amazing advice.
Yeah, I think that was really good advice that year. If we didn't get that, then I don't know if we would have pulled through.
Yeah, I would not want to go back. I would never want to go back. Like, grateful it happened, it's gone, whatever, cute. Never going back.
Never going back. The book is closed.
She's done.
So that was our university experience.
On that note. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. If you're still here, you're a real one.
You're a real one.
We hope to see you next week. And as always, tell us what you thought. Give us your comments.
Yeah, give us your feedback. What was your experience like?
If you have gone to university and you studied something different, tell us what that experience was like. Ooh. because we didn't get to do that. So
Yeah, and there's always tea.
And you studied at a different institution.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Some of the institutions